Representing LMAT Sustainable Water Solutions, Benny Molala.
There's over 1.2 billion people living in Africa. 658 million of those people are without electricity and water, and we are the solution to electrifying Africa and providing water. My name is Benny Molala, and we run a renewable startup company called LMAT Sustainable Solutions. We specialize in generating electricity from domestic wastewater. So this is your dirty water. We are able to generate electricity from that, and our byproducts will be producing water and purifying water from wastewater treatment plants. We have a proof of concept. We have a registered South African patent, and our competitive advantage is that our MFC unit, our microbial fuel cell unit, is corrosion resistant, and it requires low maintenance, and it's also cost effective. Our benefits are with regards to environmental, social, and economical benefits. We're aiming to establish a 100 kilowatt pilot plant to service the wastewater treatment plant and power 100 average size homes. Our MFC is a novel and unique technology. It uses sewage plant or wastewater. So how an MFC works, we are able to generate electricity, right? So we put in our domestic wastewater. This domestic wastewater will now produce water and at the same time treat the wastewater and also produce electricity as a byproduct. This is a single stage process. As I verified, it produces electricity, produces water, and purifies wastewater to 80%. Our cost comparisons that an MFC unit cost 7 million per megawatt hour. This is your OPEX and CAPEX, whereby hydropower is 25 million, biogas 30, so on, considering hydrogen fuel cell, which is 39 million. Our business model is based on 3 revenue streams. Initially is the licensing fees, whereby MFC technology could be licensed out to interested parties. And we also generate revenue from our electricity revenues, direct income from either customers or through an off-take power purchase agreement through Eskom. And we also have a revenue sale of maintenance and services, whereby our MFC plants will be serviced at a certain fee. Our call to action is that LMAT Sustainable Solutions needs 5 million rands over a 4-year period to develop an MFC power a power system to power a sewage plant fully or partially. And talking about numbers, is that on the first year, we are looking at powering 200 homes, which will give us revenue sales of 1.9 million with an EBIT of 5.1 and a net profit of negative 5.1 million, that is for the first year. Jumping to the 5th year, while powering roughly around 1,500 homes, we are looking to have revenue sales of 11.8 million with a total EBIT of 3.5 million and a net profit of 2.5 million. We're expecting exponential growth at our 6th year, but jumping on to our 10th year, while powering roughly around 1,500 homes, we are looking at revenue sales of 17.7 million and our net profit of 5.1 million. Our return of investment per MFC unit will be 8.7%, but for 5 MFC units, we're looking at a cumulative return of investment at 50%. This is compoundly, and we're aiming to break even. So we as LMAT Sustainable Solutions are able to generate electricity, we are able to produce water, and we are able to treat the wastewater in our municipalities. Let's save costs and reduce your carbon footprint. I thank you for your time.
A significant proportion of your business model seems to rely on selling electricity back to the end users or Eskom or whoever the case may be. How do you actually see that working in practice? If you've got a facility that's at a wastewater treatment works, I mean, how do you fit into the electricity distribution network, etc.? Like, how would that work? Can you talk me through it?
All right. This will happen through an off-grid or an on-grid municipality, right? So what would happen is that we would have an off-take power purchase agreement either with the municipalities or either with Eskom itself, right? So we'll be generating electricity. That electricity will be stored. Then from storing that electricity, then Eskom will purchase the electricity from us through a power purchase agreement, or will supply the municipalities with electricity through a power purchase agreement, that is.
So I'm not an engineer at all. Perhaps you could talk me through the process a little bit more. I was quite unclear. I mean, there were lots of arrows and laser points and things.
All right.
And then the second question based on that is, you mentioned a pilot plant a couple of times. Where are you hoping to base this?
Well, currently we are in talks with two local, Cape Town local municipalities. This is the Overstrand municipality and the Waterskloof municipality, where we are aiming to actually commence with our pilot plant in those two municipalities. So taking you through to the first question is that, so initially we'll have domestic wastewater, right? So this domestic wastewater, so this whole unit will, let's say it will be in a wastewater treatment plant in the big tank. So we put that in, so then we'll be treating that wastewater, right, into this chamber, right? So now this is the incoming fuel, which is the wastewater, so it will be within this chamber. Then within this chamber, we will be breaking down bacteria, right? We'll be oxidizing those bacteria. Those bacteria will then later emit protons and electrons, right? So now these protons combined with the cathode chamber, which is exposed to the air, so the hydrogens, which is the protons, will then be combined together with the oxygen from the air to produce the water H2O, right? Then we're going to capture those electrons through an external circuit whereby we'll be storing that electricity. So both our protons to produce our water, then our electrons to produce the electricity that we need. So that separation of the two cleans the wastewater in through your COD, which is your carbon oxygen demand. So we'll be reducing the carbon oxygen demand, meaning we are actually cleaning that wastewater to 80%.
So I'm just trying to, have you got a proof of concept of this already? Have you got a plant running at the moment? I mean, that's just my first question. And then secondly, at what price do you think you can produce electricity at? Because, I mean, you've got various prices up there, but what do you think is your kind of production price?
All right. Well, to answer the first question is that currently we are in research and development phase, so we've proven the concept. So through that proof of concept, we are looking for non-financial and financial support into prototyping, right? So then for the second question, which was, sorry.
How much do you looking to sell your electricity
looking to sell the electricity. All right. So for the electricity, due to NERSA, so for an IPP that has less than 1 megawatt electricity production, you are given a rate in the white paper of 106 cents. Then to Eskom through a power PPA, you'll be selling it at 66 cents.
And you can generate at that price. You think that that's,
yeah.
does that work?
Yeah. Because you just generate electricity from raw domestic wastewater. So when you go to the toilet, the output that's in there, we can actually literally generate electricity from that.
If you say you're generating from the raw output, this is a chemical process, and how do you induce this process? Do you need to maintain it with a chemical starter of some sorts that you need to replenish the whole time, or is there a kickstart in the electrolytic process with the electricity stream?
Yeah. No, there's no chemicals involved. So we actually deprive the wastewater from oxygen, then from that specific process that I cannot disclose, from that specific process, that does not need any chemicals in it at all, right? We are able to generate electricity from that. So no chemicals are needed. You don't add any other chemicals, nothing to it.
So you've told us that you can produce energy and water, and what is it that you're using? I suppose it's a bit of a follow-up question, but what is it that you're using or producing as waste products?
What are we using or producing?
So you say you're going to produce as end products electricity and water, but what is it that you're using up, and in terms of energy and other things, and what is it that you're producing as a waste product, if that makes any sense? Just trying to get my head around that.
Well, in a wastewater treatment plant, you have your effluent and your influent. So your effluent will actually probably have your solids and everything. Then your influent will just be your solids after filtration, right? Once it has been filtered out, all your tissues were out, then you have the water as it is, right? We take that water, then from that water, you just put it through the process that we're talking about, microbial fuel cell. We deprive it from oxygen. From that, it'll just be water, literally water with no solids in it. From that water, we generate electricity, and then we produce water because we have two portions of it. We have an anode and a cathode. The cathode is exposed to the air, so the hydrogens that are within the anode will then combine with the oxygens, which are at the cathode, to produce the water. Then the remaining water that's in the anode, it will be cleaned to 80%. Then it could be taken through a filtration process to make it, couldn't be drinkable, but to make it accessible and more clean.
Double check, there's zero waste product.
There's zero. Zero waste product.
Right, judges, no more questions? Right. Benny, thank you very much.